Hello and greetings, amazing humans, incredible creatives. It's a pleasure to have you back. If you are here for the first time, well, it's welcome back. And if you're here for the first time, well, hello. I'm glad you popped in. I am here the entire month of November. You're not getting rid of me. A whole 30 days of being creative, and we are showing up at a blank page to figure out what is going to show up in 20 minutes that we dedicate every single day for the month of November. So at the end of the month, we have an amazing collection of artwork created just by you. Yes, some things will be good, some things will be bad, some things will be ugly. But you know, it's the process. And that's what happens in the process. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes in the reverse order though. But today, as we get started, Canson watercolor paper, Prang watercolor, some other things on the side, we might not use them. Let's turn to our page and get started. And today I wanted to talk to you about something important. We're here, I'm over 60, and we're talking about painting when you're over 60. Why it's important to do that, why it's important to have a practice, why you want to practice, both practice painting and have a practice in doing something, because as you get older, neuroplasticity is, I'm telling you, a powerful way to keep our minds engaged. It is a wonderful, amazing way to keep it engaged. So neuroplasticity is something that is important that we talk about as we get older. It is the framework of what keeps us youthful and keeps us in that mindset of being youthful for what neuroplasticity does and provides to us. So what is neuroplasticity? Well, it is, for some folks, a word that sounds really big, and it sounds like it has something to do with your brain and plastic, and it sort of does, because our brains are malleable like plastic. It is really just, when you think about it, and you've probably heard talk about it, it's a new way or a new form or a way that our brain fires and communicates, how it creates what is called synapses in the brain. It's just really how your brain kind of wants to change and grow and form new connections. And you know what's crazy? Your brain continues to grow as much as you get older as it did when you were younger. It's only because you stop using it that it stops working the way it used to. Imagine that. So neuroplasticity doesn't have an age limit to it. We put an age limit to it because we stop wanting to learn and expand. And so that's why we're showing up every day for a month to see where our creativity can take us. And the reason we're doing that and showing up every day is because every time you try something creative, it stimulates our brain for new growth and new adaptability. Right? We've been trying different products and different techniques over the last few days, over the last 14 days. This is November 14th, by the way, if you haven't checked in yet. We've been here for 14 days creating beautiful works of art created just by you. And at the end, you'll have 30 pieces of artwork. But doing so and keeping on track with creating keeps your brain really flexible and malleable and it allows you to keep moving literally in a mindset in new directions, and it keeps expanding. So the reason I started this and I wanted to talk about this, and especially the practice, is that for many of us, we might be looking to add a little something extra to our life. Maybe we have a little extra time. Maybe we don't have a hobby and you're looking for one. Prang watercolor, cans and paper, easy way to get started. Just putting some marks down, some color on the paper and having fun, not knowing what you're going to get. It's usually a landscape, but usually doing a creative outlet creates more firing in the brain. And it also allows us, like I said to in a past video, that it allows you to get out from the inside to the outside what you may not be able to convey in words through pictures. It also has emotional and mental benefits that are huge. Not only does it provide purpose, if you find that, you really enjoy it and you really like the expression of it, regardless, remember, of how the piece turns out, we're not having an attachment to that, but we're having an attachment to the experience of doing the practice, the doing of what we're creating. So keep that in mind, that that's a reason to stick to it and to keep at it. Another thing is that we want to talk about the science. What's the science behind it? What is the reason for showing up and doing this? I'm going to keep adding some stuff here, extra layers, so we get a little dimension. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm having fun doing it. Kind of just putting it together. It's kind of the way our brain operates sometimes. It doesn't really necessarily always know what it's doing in the experience, but it takes all the past experiences and puts them together to create a semblance, to have recognition to how to relate to this experience. Kind of what we do here when we're putting color on canvas, right? It's also about stimulating different parts of the brain. It's about visual processing. It's about hand-eye coordination. It's about going back and remembering a place, some place in time. Well, all of this that happens is creating what are referred to as tendrils. And those tendrils have a name. They're called dendrites. And they're like little branches of neurons that connect to one another, kind of the way capillaries connect to one another. Remember when we were in science, we learned about capillaries connect to the veins, that connect to the arteries, that connect to the heart. So keep that in mind. So when we're doing this, it creates, different synapses in our brains. And it builds new synapses in our brains when we are doing new and creative things. And that helps to keep our mind sharp, like learning how to see perspective, learning how to see depth by adding different colors and what that does and how it allows our brain to perceive things differently. It opens doors, honestly, to processing as we age, because we have so much that's coming at us so quickly. So I love most when we get to be in this space of creating is oftentimes just the level of calm that gets created in just the practice of the doing. It really brings in a meditative state, kind of that state where we lose we lose understanding of space and time. That's called the flow state. And that flow state's important because champion athletes is who gets involved in that. And when you get there, you're reducing stress. You're lowering your cortisol level. You're also helping to release dopamine. And, dopamine's a nice feel-good chemical that you can put in to your body naturally just by sitting down and investing in some painting time. And, isn't that enough to keep you motivated? The dopamine drop from seeing something that you created and going, wow, I did that. I did that. I did that. So I encourage you, it's a great way to relieve stress. It's a great way to let go of perfection. One of the reasons we keep showing up here is letting go of that perfection and what that does when you do that. And allowing yourself to be in that joyful state. I often talk that when we're children, we engage in that all the time, but as adults, we don't do that as often, and that child inside of us never disappears. So take a few minutes and find that little kid and go knock on the door and see if they can come out and play. Ring the doorbell. Or they're on the ring cam, let them know. Literally go to your ring cam and ask if that little kid can come out and play, because that's an important thing. I want to remind you, if you are thinking about starting a creative practice, I encourage you to do that. Not for any other reason than to have a place to have a release, a place to let go, a place to put down things, a place to have space to call your very own, that you don't have to share with anyone. No one, not a single one. This process is just about letting go and enjoying the process and the act of creating. That's what we've been doing all month long, is just enjoying the act of creating and seeing what that does for us, where it gets us, how it makes us feel. So, and it doesn't have to be watercolor. Maybe you're going to find something else. Maybe you're going to find that it's going to be acrylics or oils, or like I said, maybe it is cooking for you. Maybe it's gardening for you. Maybe it's woodworking or what you do with cars. I don't know. But whatever your creative thing is, I encourage you to go and find it, because it's out there. It's out there waiting for you, calling your name, waiting for you. Yes, I do that a lot. I figured just be your authentic self. What else am I going to add here? Let's put some orange in the sky. That would be pretty. This is what I want to leave with you. Ooh, that won't be too much water right there. I don't want you going down that direction. Oh, here, let's just keep you up there. Nice and slightly away from that other stuff. Because I don't want it to get on that other stuff there, because if it does, it'll get all icked. So I'd like to remind you that whatever your practice is going to be, just find it. Find space for it. Find time for it. Doing so will help you. It'll help the people around you. It'll help the people you love. It'll help fire neurons in your brain, creating new tendrils so you build that neuroplasticity. It's about doing things at the end of the month that you will have a visual representation of all that you've done and all that you've achieved and all that you didn't think you could do, but you did do because you invested just 20 minutes every single day for 30 days, and you created some pretty amazing, phenomenal pieces of artwork. So build some neurons, find a creative practice, do it, and have fun. I'm Samaj. This is Creating with Samaj. If you enjoyed the content, a thumbs up would be delightful. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you the next time. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. And remember, wherever you are, have an amazing day. And until then, I realized I don't have a pen. So I'll have to sign it later. I'll see you next time. So after taking off the tape, I realized this wasn't complete. So I just need to add a couple of things and finish our conversation. So the whole reason for doing the painting is to fire those neurons, to create that synapsis so that our brains continue to grow. That's what happens in the process of creating. You allow your brain to continue to grow and to expand. And doing so benefits you in huge ways. It allows your brain to continue to figure out how to make things work and work out. And it's always teaching you. Because, hey, it's been around you for a really long time. So lean into the creative part. Don't listen to that negative voice that might show up. Allow those neurons to fire. Allow yourself to get excited about the process of learning and being that kid and letting that kid come out and play. Have a great time being a creative and creating. We are all creatives. That is what we were called here to do. So keep being creative. I have to say, that feels, whoops, except for this tree. This tree needs a little thing on it. That tree wasn't feeling very done. All right. Thanks for being here again. We just add a little extra zhuzh on it. With the additional couple of minutes that we had left over. Have an amazing day wherever you are. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then.